Hello, everyone. We're going to go ahead. We're going to get started. We've got a big day here. A few items, though, before we get started. We ask that you please mute yourselves. We recommend changing your Zoom settings to speaker view for the duration of the meeting. We do encourage engagement during the meeting, but we do prefer that it occur within the chat function, unless it's a Q&A session, at which time you can come off of mute for questions, or you can continue to use the chat function if you prefer. And please note that the session today is being recorded. So let's get to it. We have a full afternoon with amazing speakers. If you haven't seen the agenda for today, there's a more detailed agenda that Sandy has sent in the chat. And I want to start out first, though, by thanking all those that volunteered to make this happen. Our marketing and events committee put this all together. It was a lot of hard work that went into this. This is no one's day job, so we're all very grateful for the time that they put into this. And on top of that, I also want to thank our sponsors, our speakers, and Everest for throwing a watch party, which was extended to non-employees. We got a glimpse of your room if you're on a little bit earlier. And last but not least, all of you, our members, our followers, our interested parties, thank you. We hope you enjoy the day. I'm really looking forward to it, I know. So first, I'm going to kick off the meeting with an update on NAWA. Then we're going to move on to our keynote speaker, Karen Catlin, the author of Better Allies, who's going to discuss what we all can do to create a more diverse and inclusive workplace. Following that, we have a fireside chat on intersectionality and more with Sarah Manuel and Naomi Garcia. And we'll close the day with an expert panel discussing the potential areas of bias impacting the P&C, life, and health insurance industries today. If you weren't already aware, the final session may qualify as well for bias continuing education. With that, let's get started. So happy birthday to NAWA. We're officially turning 1, and we're also happy that you're here to celebrate with us. I'll be breezing over a refresh of why and who NAWA is, as I want to make sure we have time to talk about what the group has been working on and what we have achieved to date. So I won't spend too much time on the why. And also a spoiler alert here I put on the agenda. We do have the launch of our NAWA book club, so stay tuned if you're interested in that. But before I get too far in, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Amber Rohde. My pronouns are she and her. I'm the current board president and co-founder of NAWA. I'm an FCS and have been in the P&C industry for about 18 years now, working in various states and countries. So the idea for NAWA was founded in spring 2021, a little over a year ago, when myself, Sandy Lowe, and Adrian Ostroff on this slide were introduced by a mutual friend. 3 of us came together, all with different stories and experiences. However, we all had a similar passion to make a difference. We wanted to address issues in the pipeline, both hiring and career advancement, empowerment of women. We wanted to be surrounded by more diversity across our fields, and so on. And this all led to NAWA's official launch, which was almost exactly a year ago today at our kickoff event. I think it was October 7th, I could be wrong. And a lot has happened since, which is what we're going to be talking about today. The first change for us, we expanded our board. So as NAWA has grown in members and volunteers, the vision for the group, events, and programs have also grown. As that has gotten bigger, it was clear we needed more perspective and people at the table with us. With that, both Ray Warner and Ari Moskowitz joined the board this past June. And they have been active volunteers and voices in the group since before we officially launched, so you may have actually worked with them or seen them on prior events. But their positive impact on the board and direction of NAWA has been immediately felt by the group, and we're absolutely thrilled to have them on the team. So a little bit about NAWA, and like I said before, I'm going to fly through some of these slides, and many of you have seen them before in prior presentations. Some of you may have not. If you ever want to learn more about NAWA, though, or the information on these slides, you can get in touch with us, or you can find some of this on our website. We do have the Why NAWA section out there. Essentially, our mission at NAWA is to connect and empower women of all backgrounds, races, ethnicities, and life circumstances to be successful in the actuarial profession. We aim to accomplish our mission through our 3 foundational principles. 1, We aim to increase the equity and representation of women in the actuarial profession in all aspects, at entry level, in leadership positions, as thought leaders, as speakers, and across all professional organizations. 2, we want to create a sense of community amongst women across sectors, specialties, and all walks of life. And 3, we want to provide opportunities for personal and professional development tailored toward women and allies. It's our intent that each initiative, program, or session from NAWA supports at least one of these principles, and ultimately our mission statement. So let's talk about a few reasons why we need NAWA. But again, just a few, as I want to get to celebrating what the group has accomplished in the first year. So I'm going to be really quick here. Many of you are familiar with the Spotlight on Diversity reports across the CS and SOA. We don't have reports from the other credentialing organizations yet up here, but the story isn't too different between the two we display here. Essentially, women make up around a third of our profession. There had been favorable growth for some time that many of us are aware of. However, numbers in general have remained stagnant for around 10 plus years. So when we compare that to external benchmarks, we know there are qualified women out there and we're not attracting them. So we have a problem. Then there's the gender pay gap. This obviously is an issue that's not exclusive to actuaries. When reviewing various surveys, we found the average base salary for female actuaries was up to 7% less than male counterparts. Including bonus, the differential grew to 12%. There's really not a lot of good data here, but given we see this as a wider issue outside of actuarial and insurance, it's no surprise. And then there's the career pipeline. This is the insurance pipeline from McKinsey's 2020 Women at Workplace study. The 2022 version will be released soon, which we will be reviewing, but we should not be seeing such drops as women progress through their careers. 23% in the C-suite is far too low. Higher than other financial industries, yes, but not okay. So what will NAWA do to create change in the profession? We are creating a sense of community for women and allies to network and share their experiences. We aim to generate awareness about the existence of gender bias in the profession. And we want to empower current and future women actuaries to be successful in the profession via our events, programs, candidate outreach, and so on. In a bit, I'll get to our impact committees and programs that we've been developing. The aim really is that these programs and initiatives that I'll share with you, they're going to be the catalyst to help drive the change that ties back to our mission and foundational principles. Before we reflect on our accomplishments, though, how do you become a member in case you're not already one? It's very easy. Go to NAWAActuaries.org and find Get Involved, or email us at ally@NAWAActuaries.org. Your membership entails opportunities to participate in our events and programs, as well as more to come, and it costs nothing. So before I move on, I just want to note that throughout the session, we are going to attempt to add occasional links to the chat. I think, Sandy, I can see there's stuff in the chat. Maybe you're already adding things, but we'll be sharing a link to this presentation as well after the meeting. So you can always come back and find them later. Also, our website is pretty easy to navigate. So if you can find our website, that's going to be where most of these links are. And here we are. This is where I wanted to get with everybody. Let's reflect on our first year and some of our major accomplishments, some of which we are going to delve into deeper. So we achieved our 501c3 nonprofit status. For you and companies, that means donations are tax deductible. We developed many partners as well as sponsors over the year. On top of that, we grew our members and followers. We gained many volunteers, and with them, we developed our impact committees. And externally, we put on various events, visited campuses and clubs, and shared publications by members and partners. Lots of great stuff. Let's first talk about our members and followers. And thank you to the measurement and reporting group for getting this information over. As of September, we now have over 400 members from over 150 companies and universities. This is split between various credentialing organizations, including the Society of Actuaries, the CIS, Casualty Actuarial Society, the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries, IFOA, Canadian Institute of Actuaries, CIA, the Nigerian Actuarial Society, NAS, and more. Our social media presence as well has grown quite a bit. On LinkedIn, we have around 1,800 followers from around the world. You can see the majority, 3/4 are in the US, with Illinois, New York, Connecticut, Minnesota, DC, and Texas being our largest. And we have many followers across Europe and Canada as well. I also mentioned the growth in our volunteers and development for impact committees. Early in 2022, we met with our new volunteers and worked on developing the visions and goals for each group. It's now been around 6 months since the original strategy sessions were shared internally. And you heard me right, 6 months. And each group has accomplished so much, which I plan to share subsequently. Essentially, these groups are all laying out the foundation for NAWA, and I feel like we're in a very strong place to begin having an increasingly positive impact on the community. So there's a lot of words here. The first group I want to highlight is partnerships, and I'm not going to go through all the words here. I'm not going to go through the responsibilities in lieu of time, but they're here for future reference. The partnership group had a big year, or rather just over 6 months, as I mentioned. They developed ongoing relationships and partnerships with credentialing organizations, as well as diversity networks. They set up the ability for individuals to donate, and they ran a successful founding sponsor campaign, as well as creating what we're calling the Corporate Action Council. The founding sponsor campaign went from May to August. The target number of founding sponsors when they began was 5, with a stretch goal of 10, and we ended up with 13. So massive success, and thanks to the hard work of this committee, as well as our founding sponsors. Guess we have a lucky number 13 here. And speaking of founding sponsors, here they are. I'm going to take a sip of water while we take it in. We are obviously so grateful to these companies, our founding sponsors, as well as our supporting sponsors, for demonstrating their commitment to empowering women in the actuarial profession with their generous donations and their continuous support of our efforts. Many of these companies have demonstrated their support beyond donations as well, and we look forward to furthering the impact we can have together with the Corporate Action Council, which I'll explain subsequently. For their support and commitment toward our mission, we'd like to thank you. We have Allstate, the Society of Actuaries, Milliman, Pauline Reimer, prior executive search, the Casualty Actuarial Society, Liberty Mutual Insurance, Nationwide, Everest, Travelers, Unum, and not pictured only because we're finalizing the paperwork and getting their logos ready are Aon, Bright House Financial, and Pacific Life. If you're interested in a job with any of our founding sponsors, we will be keeping job postings from these companies as they share them with us. You can find them on our website. You can find them at NAWAActuaries.org under jobs and internships. And I think Sandy is posting something in the chat if she has not already. In addition to our founding sponsors and in support of our efforts to empower women in the actuarial profession, the following companies are also sponsors of NAWA at the supporter level. We want to thank Athena Actuarial Consulting, CNO Financial Group, the CCA, Conference of Consulting Actuaries, and Beasley. If you see your company on these slides, any of the two, and you enjoyed our meeting, let them know or let us know. This event is free because of your companies. And if you don't see your company here but think it should be a sponsor, just email us or find out more on our website. So I've mentioned this a few times, and I wanted to share a very high-level preview. But one accomplishment of the partnership group is creating the Corporate Action Council. And then they're in the process of planning their first quarterly meeting with the founding and ultimate ally sponsors. I won't go into all the details here, but I think the title speaks for itself. It's not Corporate Advisory Council, it's Action, Corporate Action Council. It's an important distinction. The focus is to work out what actions come out of this, what insights can be shared across and with both ultimate sponsors and members. How can we partner with these companies to create meaningful action toward our mission? We're very excited to see what comes out of this initiative and grateful for the effort that the groups and sponsors have been putting into it so far. So moving to our next group, measurement and reporting, this group is focused on bringing meaningful information to the relevant audiences, both internal and external to NAWA. Over the last 6 months, the group has made a lot of progress. They developed surveys following events. They've worked on building out reports to support NAWA committees and sponsors. And more exciting to the members, they've spent a fair amount of effort developing a library of useful external resources, things like salary, pipeline, etc. In development is how we go about sharing that information with you all in an impactful and easy to digest format. In addition, they're spending time thinking about how we use those metrics to assess and drive impact. For example, should we take findings from some of these and bring them to a networking meeting for a discussion, or other formats to help drive awareness and productive discussion around how we address any findings? So stay tuned for more. I'm really excited for the work they're doing behind the scenes, as it's really important, especially for many of us analytical folks who love our data. Let's move on now to the marketing and events group. This group is so busy, very busy. First off, it should almost be split into two groups here. So we're going to talk about events first. They are the ones behind our annual meeting. And thanks to this group again for making today happen. It was a vast effort working on content, organizing speakers, working out technical aspects of the day, the marketing material and strategy, and so much more. They also developed our International Women's Day event. And if you didn't attend it this spring, we had Catherine Valentine, founder of Worth More Negotiations, discussing successful negotiation tactics for women. I have to say, I have been to many talks in my time that start with how to, and rarely do I leave with more than one or two useful takeaways. This was one of the few I've been to that was so relatable and actionable. I was scribbling notes left and right. Hopefully other attendees felt the same, but it really was, I felt a wonderful session. I've included a link here, and Sandy, if you put that in the chat, that'd be great. As the group put together a fabulous recap of the takeaways on our website. You can also find a link to it on our website if you go to events, or if you go under what we call the NAWA narrative section, you can find it. It's called Empower Hour, How to Negotiate Successfully as a Woman. All in all, NAWA as a whole has hosted at least 9 events and presentations across all our impact committees and with partners. Various members of this group have touched each one of these in some way or another. If they're not organizing them directly, they are out there marketing the events, which is the second half of this committee that I referred to. They are responsible for developing and running our social media presence. They developed the NAWA newsletter and NAWA narrative, where we share articles written by volunteers or partners, as well as other NAWA updates. You can find the NAWA narrative on our website under education. All of this is no small task, obviously. It takes a lot of people behind the scenes to develop the content and get it out on a regular basis. Again, a group of volunteers. This group is high energy, fast-paced group, and we owe a lot of the success of NAWA to what they do. And last but not least, we have program strategy. This group was developed to sit over all the programs that NAWA will run. The idea is that they will ensure the effort and programs in play are impactful in achieving our mission and goals. Going back to the foundational principles that we talked about earlier, having them reflect on, do we have a healthy balance of work that supports all of the pillars, for example, or do we have any gaps? In addition, when there are gaps, they are the ones working on and with proposals for new programs, supporting the startup and overseeing development to ensure new programs are being set up for success. In the last 6 months, they've laid out the strategic vision for various programs we want to develop and have been working on a few. And some of these programs are now standalone. A few that we've been focusing on so far is candidate outreach, mentorship, and book club. These 3 we're going to talk about subsequently. And in development, we have a few other programs. Ambassador program. This group is making sure that when we send people out to represent NAWA, whether that's on campus or another event, everyone is prepared and we have the right material and content for the given audience. Networking meetings, that one's pretty self-explanatory, and we're hoping to get those kicked off early next year. Membership engagement, looking for ways to further enhance your opportunities. and speaker repository, which will aim to find ways to make sure we get more women speakers at conferences. And that's not just facilitating, but as thought leaders and on technical topics. So sticking with programs, let's dive into two of our largest and most exciting programs to date. First, we have candidate outreach. To date, they've had some really big successes here. They've connected with 5+ universities and students, and they're planning to ramp up the visits for this fall. Along the way, they partnered with the CAS on the Association for Women in Mathematics. And one of the most exciting accomplishments for the group was the development of our event last month. Hopefully some of you got to attend it. It was a panel session with experts on how to advocate for your next career move. And currently, they're working on the post-event sessions where interested parties can review their resumes and have interview prep sessions with experts. This event was tailored for both students and those already established in their career, so I as well found it quite helpful, even though I've been in the field for 18 years. I thought it was a fabulous event, and I'm looking forward to future events and programs like it. The mentorship program is another group we're very excited about and has a very active volunteer committee. They have been very busy establishing mentorship programs, and that's programs, plural, as there's different forms this all can take, which they're exploring right now, like traditional, peer circles, and so on. Right now, we are thrilled to announce that the traditional mentorship pilot program is going to be kicking off soon. It was shared via our newsletter and was for a limited amount of people. So currently it is full. However, lessons learned from this pilot will help to guide a larger rollout to our wider community at a later date. So if you're going to be a part of the pilot, we look forward to working with you. And if not, and you're interested in mentorship on either side, being a mentor or a mentee, make sure you're a member of NAWA so you can learn more about future opportunities. All of what I have a lot here on this slide. There's a lot of names. And basically, I've shared a lot with you, and it's obviously no short feat. It's amazing what we've accomplished in less than a year, and really for most of the groups in the last half a year. We're all blown away, and we couldn't have done it without these individuals here. We have a great volunteer community and continue to expand it. If you're interested in volunteering, see Get Involved on our website. If you filled out our member survey and haven't heard from us, you may soon, as we're looking to staff up a few committees. But if you're really keen and getting antsy to help, you can reach out to us at ally@NAWAActuaries.org. I think Sandy is putting in the chat, she probably has already, how to get involved. So with that, let's pause. I want to have a virtual round of applause. You can clap silently if you'd like, or if there's a little clap thing, or unless that's Teams. But a virtual round of applause and a thank you to our passionate volunteers. Oh yes, there's the hand symbol. Thank you. I'll just do it live. There we go. So their dedication to the mission and having an impact on the industry is immense. And it's so exciting to be a part of this group with so many motivated individuals that are willing to put their own time in to make our community and industries better for those currently in it, as well as for the future of our profession. Thank you, everyone. I think you'll see this again as we get to the close of the meeting, but various ways to get in touch with us: LinkedIn, Instagram, our website, and the ally@NAWAActuaries.org. Now, before we close this update and move on to our keynote, I saved some exciting news on one of our programs for last. Right now, we are launching the NAWA Book Club. Kim Guerrero has been working on this to make it possible, so big thanks to Kim on our hard work here. The first book will be our keynote, Karen Catlin's book, Better Allies. And it's one of my favorites. I actually keep a copy at my desk at work, which up until last week was my dining room table, so I can't hold it up here because it's now officially back in the office, or at least a couple days of the week it is. Anyway, for the book club, you can choose from 2 dates, December 7th or 8th. The first 24 people to sign up will receive a free book. So do act fast if interested. And if you'd like to join, you can do so now. I think Sandy might be posting something. Otherwise, go to tinyurl.com/NAWA Book Club. And even if you can't join, I do recommend seeing the survey to express any interest in joining future sessions where books and dates are going to be determined later. So more info will also be sent out to members afterwards, just in case you didn't catch all this. But if you have any questions, you can email Kim or ally@nawaactuaries.org.